Barber Gabe from Barber Gabe's Fades, the man that made the wonderful beard balm that you get from Barber's R US. Oh, yeah, and Zia Prince, the jack of so many trades, gonna be back in action. He hears me now, obviously.
Yeah,
Isleta, the 22nd, APFC 22. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. You know what I realized as I was getting ready to do this with you?
Hmm.
We've done little things here and there, but I don't think we've done a full Gabe interview yet.
I don't think so.
Dude, this is the first time. So Freddie's going to be yelling at me somewhere in the background within minutes, people, because I'm going to eat up more of Gabe's time than we meant to. This is a supersized, extra long edition of my fight show. I'm going to go nuts tonight with like 3 hours. You're a lifelong wrestler, my friend, but what led you to that wrestling room?
So I got into a fight with someone in the streets that knew how to wrestle, and I knew how to kickbox, and he took me down. I didn't really know what to do, so kind of stopped kickboxing and went to the wrestling room. And freshman year, I went out and I tried it, and I was like, I don't like it. And sophomore year came back in and kind of just fell in love with it. I really just kind of pushed through the beginning of wrestling and learning, and I just fell in love with it.
That was your own decision, or was there an influence that led you in the direction of wrestling? Like, besides that instance that happened, was there anybody that you knew was already involved?
My dad was actually a wrestler growing up, and I remember when I was a kid, he had a really cool West Mesa wrestling trophy that I always had next to my bed, and I always kept it next to me. And I just thought that was the coolest thing ever. I was like, my dad was a wrestler, and I want to go to West Mesa like my mom and my dad. And I ended up just kind of seeing that, put it in my head. And then as a kid, I loved WWE before I found out that it was predetermined fights and entertainment, And then I watched my mom and dad on TV when they went to go see UFC 100, and I fell in love with it. And I was like, oh well, Brock Lesnar used to wrestle in college as well as WWE, but now he's doing MMA, and I just started. It kind of just started rolling on from there.
MMA becomes this love. You said there was some kickboxing in your background. Who influenced you in that direction? Was that your decision, or was that also something your dad, like, tell us about the kickboxing experience that you had as a youth?
That was my decision. I was a very troubled kid, I would say. I was always in trouble, always disruptive in the classroom, and always loved fighting. So when my wrestling coach opened up a gym called Lovato Total Fitness behind West Mesa, I ended up going and trying it out. And when I went, I ended up meeting two fellow MMA fighters that are, one of them is now currently a pro fighter, Marquise Smith. And we kind of started training together when I was like about 11 or 12, and he was starting off his MMA journey. And we kind of just started training together, and I was always the younger kid, and they were always looking out for me and just showing me things, and I fell in love with it.
That's interesting. That's interesting. The couple degrees of separation. So I don't know if you remember this, but they used to have the smokers in the
Yes.
Lovato gym.
Yep.
First time I ever got told, hey, go cover a smoker, end up at the Lovato gym. So yeah, I was there even to see Jordan Espinosa, I think, still fight as an amateur back in that day. I see the head shaking. You know what I'm talking about. There was Russell Wilson. There was Marquise, Josh Lanier, Matt Goudelet there. There were so
Yep.
many of the West Mesa wrestlers that I could name, those old AAA MMA days fighting here locally. So you were soaking up the knowledge in those days from those guys?
Oh yeah. Russell was one of the Muay Thai coaches at the time, I believe, and I remember he was coaching me. Matt Goudelet was my wrestling coach. He taught me a lot of good throws. So I know all those guys. Grew up around them. Josh Lanier, I grew up around all those guys.
So you kind of were in this direction for, what'd you say now, about a decade?
I went in there when I was 12. So, and I'm 28 now. So
Oh, so
since
about
then,
16 years.
yeah.
So you've always just had this love for the combat sports, and the passion has just kind of kept bubbling and culminating in this direction that's led you to still pursue it.
Oh yeah, I've always just since a kid, I've always loved fighting. I loved training. I loved just every aspect of every single martial art, boxing, wrestling, kickboxing, everything. I loved it always.
You mentioned Brock Lesnar. We'll let you pass on that one, but who were some, because you're a WWE fan, obviously, but who were some of your guys, UFC, MMA wise, that you were looking up to that you admired?
I'm still gonna say Brock Lesnar, bro. Truly, I didn't watch Brock Lesnar in WWE because I was a little too young. But I mean, I love Eddie Guerrero. I have a I'm Your Poppy shirt on right now. Eddie Guerrero was the guy I used to watch, but as I started watching UFC, that was the first event I was introduced to because my father went to it, and I thought it was cool seeing my dad on TV when they were walking out. But it was really Brock Lesnar that like kind of got me really into it, and then started seeing that he was a big freaking scary monster and to this day, I still say that he's one of the best heavyweights ever. I don't care what anybody says. To me, he still is.
So Lovato Total Fitness, I know that everyone moved on, everything there kind of closed down, all the fighters went their direction. Did you take time away from fighting there, or did you just go to another gym? Like, where did your path go when they kind of shut down?
Well, when they shut down, I was in high school, so I kept on training in the wrestling room. I focused a lot in high school with my high school sports. You know, I was in football, and then when football was over, I would transition right into wrestling, and then when wrestling was over, I would transition into competing in cheerleading. So like I was just always busy doing something, you know.
Cheerleading, were you doing flips or were you tossing and catching?
Tossing and catching. I tried doing flips. I never really could get them fully down, but I was a little bit of help. You know, I was able to do some stuff, but it helped a lot overall with all of my sports. Cheerleading helped a lot with it, with all that.
You were about to go into like Chris Barnett level of athleticism in my mind. If you told me you were doing backflips at high school football games on the track, I would be like,
No,
really?
no.
Holy crap.
So I never. That was the deal. Was I because I was a football player. I played center, but I always told the cheerleading coach that I would never cheer at a football game or a basketball game. I would just compete. I was like, I'm not gonna do all that. I'm gonna go and compete at the competitions for cheerleading, but I'm not gonna cheer at no games.
I don't think we knew this on
Yeah.
the many, many athletic feats and traits that you have under your belt that cheerleading was one of them. All right. That's something. Competition running deep in your veins. When did it lead back to MMA? We've seen you now for quite a while with Freddie and Sandoval Fight Systems.
Well, it kind of led back when I graduated high school. I kind of let go of myself and got up to like 330 pounds, and I was just in a bad place mentally, physically, emotionally. And I was messaging Freddie for like a year, just saying, "Oh, I want to go in," just just talking, and he just kept saying, "Come on in, and we'll see what you got." And I was had the dream. I'm like, I want to fight in the cage, and I finally just went in one day and went in. He seen that I had a wrestling tattoo and kind of put me against some really good guys, Mario Moore, freaking Jalen Fuller, all them, and they beat the shit out of me because I was so out of shape and so freaking fat. And I mean, I didn't give up. I loved it, and I just kept going, and like a week later, he told me that there was a fight that against the number one heavyweight in New Mexico that everyone was terrified of, and I was like, "Well, I don't care. I'll fight him," you know. And he's like, "All right, well, let's see you spar first." So we sparred, and he's like, "All right, cool. Let's take this fight," you know. So took it on like a 3 week notice and did the best I could at that moment, and it was the best experience ever.
You're hooked.
Oh, I was hooked. Whether I got dropped and I lost, I was like, "Yeah, I want to do this. 100% want to do this."
You have gotten in the cage now as an amateur several times, and a couple of them at heavyweight.
Yeah.
What was it like, those experiences, now that you look back on them, having tested yourself against some giants?
Um, they were cool, you know. I mean, I showed my resilience and showed that I'm not scared to take on the biggest dudes that there possibly could be offered to me. You know, I never turned down a fight. I always said yes to everybody, and that was kind of like a thing that Freddie and John Judy even mentioned. It was like I'm a little too tough for my own good sometimes, you know. But it was awesome, you know. But I knew that I wasn't big enough to be a heavyweight. I don't think I'm big enough to be a middleweight, but you know, we're getting dialed in. I feel pretty comfortable at this weight. I'm strong as hell. So
Go visit this man, 100 Coors Boulevard, Northwest, Suite 107. It's Barber Gabe's Fades. You can book online at barbergabesfades.net. Easier. You can still be a walk-in, that's fine, but you might wait a little bit because the place is busy. Obviously, this interview is brought to you by Barber Gabe and his fade station there. You are a jack of many trades. How do we lead to Barber and Zia shirts and making Barber products with the Barber R US beer bomb? Where does this entrepreneurial side come from? Well, you're also busy contributing so much of your nights in the gym to this dream.
um I don't know, man. Since I was a kid, I've always been like infatuated with owning a business or making money. I mean, I I think I made my first business cards at like the age of 10 or maybe even 8. And it was like a picture of me wearing my Michael Jackson Thriller jacket and with the Miami Dolphins logo saying Gabriel's Books. And I used to write short stories and sell little books to people in the neighborhood, or my mom would take me driving down the street and I would make keychains and I would sell them to people. And or I'd go to the store and buy like a grip of Powerades and chips, and I would have like an inventory in my closet and I would write it down and sell them at school for profit. So like I used to consistently and always be trying to make money since I was a little kid, and it just kind of always, you know, just kind of always been there. And I just always knew I wanted to see the world, and I wanted to have the freedom to do what I wanted to do. And doing those things kind of it's given me the opportunity to now do this, which is something that I've always loved to do, you know, because right now as amateurs we don't make money. And even at the pro level, unless you're at the biggest show, you know, you're not really making a lot of money. So it's a lot of sacrifice, and you do have to have love for the sport, you know.
Where does Zia Prince come up in all this? I understand. Okay, I heard that you've been cutting hair since, was it high school or middle school? But either way, the barber game, I understand. Where does now printing, stickers, shirts, fight shorts, hats, I mean, from your teammates' apparel to what we just saw this past weekend with a lot of the threads at Cartel Clash, those people are going to you.
um I don't know, man. Like I said, I've always just been driven with wanting to make money, and I've always been really good at drawing. I've always been really good at creating things, and I love doing things with my hands. And getting, you know, I started off making stickers, then I started doing little prints, and then I got a small embroidery machine. I learned how to do digitizing, and now it's turned into like a full-on business where, you know, I make banners, stickers, hats, shorts, everything, you know, like all of my fight shorts that I've worn, I've completely designed and made them myself, you know. And I don't know. I've always been really into making things and seeing a product come from in my head to an idea to on paper or on my iPad when I draw it to the physical product being made. There's a big reward in seeing that.
How do you feel that creative side and that creative process is also cultivated with your MMA game?
I think it's had me be able. I think it's helped me be able to kind of visualize certain things before my fight. Um, Kind of see things while I'm in the cage. You know, kind of visualizing it and seeing these things, making them happen. You know, coming from in my head, seeing it in my head, and then knowing that I have to do X, Y, and Z to get to that. You know.
Getting to that spot, you got to a great spot in your last fight. Everybody's talked about it. You hit a highlight reel overhand that butted a man and had him scooting across the cage. Seeing a performance like that with the hours you put in, how did that feel? How did that set up that performance? What did that mean?
It felt, I mean, it felt amazing, you know, it felt extremely effortless. And when I say that, I mean it in like the most respectful way to the other team, you know. It felt like there was just nothing there for me with like that from that guy, you know. And that punch, I threw it not even hard. It might look like I threw it hard or sounded like I threw it hard, but like I know I did not throw it with all full power, you know, and it just landed perfect, you know. And I mean, it's given me an amazing opportunity to grow not just my brand as an MMA fighter, but now my brand as a barber and my businesses. So I've used that viral video to kind of promote my business and kind of like mix them all together, you know. So it's pretty awesome. I think the opportunity that I was given was amazing.
And what do you think about how result like that is such a positive affirmation of everything that you're doing? Well, normally, well, I'm not bothering you right now.
I mean, it just shows, you know, before when I was fighting heavyweight, I was not disciplined. Um, I was like, oh, cool. I got a big weight that I could be at, you know, I could be 240 and I got up to 265 that I could be able to be at, you know, so I was not disciplined in the gym with my diet, with nothing really, you know, and then as I went down to middleweight, I'm extremely disciplined outside of the gym now and like it's showing now that like the results are there, you know, the results are there when now that I'm actually putting in the work and I'm really dialed in, you know. Given my first fight at middleweight, it felt a little weird, felt very weak. I thought that I could have done more strength training, you know, but you know, it's the fight game. It's all good.
I haven't been there in a while, so I might not be up to date because I haven't been over to the gym. We're like 4 months strong on this show, guys, and then my other nights I'm working. But last time I'm there at SFS, last time I'm around the team, you have stepped up in this role as a team captain, as a team leader, as like a motivational force, almost going to each guy, asking them how they're doing, keeping their heads up, doing that check. Is it the wrestling mentality? Is this just Gabe? Where does jumping into that kind of role that I observed come from?
I think I'm just naturally a leader, truly. Given everybody in our gym is leaders, you know, and we're all leaders in our own way, but I kind of just I felt like I was I was meant to be on this team, and when I got here, you know, I was the new guy at first, and now I'm one of the OGs now that's still on the team, and Freddie's kind of given me the opportunity to be the leader and to be the captain, and everyone else 100% respects it, and you know, we all respect each other, and there's just no egos, and it's just you know it just goes to show that when you're here and you're putting in the work, guys will follow per se, but you know, still leading by example.
Roberto Valenzuela, March 22nd, APFC 22. It's the man that stands in between you and victory. We saw him also at APFC, lost due to a cut. Some really good boxing, some powerful striking that he displayed before the fight became a grappling match. What do you think of the test that's ahead of you?
I think it's a really good test. I think that his last two fights were honestly bullshit with the stoppages. I'm gonna be honest. I think he's a very tough competitor, and I think it just kind of sucks that those two things happened. Truly, um, but I know I have a tough opponent again ahead of me, you know, and I'm well prepared for anything.
What do you feel has been the biggest gains that you hope to display or improvements from this last camp to the next one? Because now we're getting you rolling, consistently fighting. I know that you've talked in private about wanting to build up the resume here with APFC, possibly get into an amateur title fight with them. What are you looking for from the improvements in your game?
I'm looking to just show that I am 100% a mixed martial artist. You know, everyone knows I'm a wrestler. You could try to wrestle me. You know, you could try to knock me out. I don't know. You know, it's just I'm very confident with every aspect of my game. And I mean, I have the best coaches. Truly, I know I have the best coaches. Freddie Sandoval, our head coach, the best. I have Jose, our jiu-jitsu coach, the best. I have the best boxing coach, Paco, and then I have my badass team right behind me. And we're so close with each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, we'll be cutting weight together. We go out together outside of the gym. We're not just guys that come to the gym, see each other at the gym, and then go home. Like, we actually all have good friendships with each other. Our girlfriends are friends with each other. Like, we're a family, and I know with them behind me and with everything, like, I'm good. I'm very well prepared.
16 weeks, guys. We've been promoting it. Barber's R US Beard Balm. Barber Gabe's Fades. BarberGabesFades.net is how you book with him or one of the incredible barbers and stylists that work at 100 Coors Boulevard Northwest. Of course, walk-ins are welcome. How can people get tickets for APFC 22?
You can get tickets directly from me if you're local. I have them every day with me. You can meet me at my barbershop. I still have a little bit of tickets left over. And once they're sold out, they're gone. Or you can try to buy them online. If you do decide to buy them online, make sure you use my name at the checkout, Gabriel Bencomo or Gabe Bencomo.
Barber Gabe, it was great getting to talk to you. You have a good night, sir.
Thank you, you too. Be safe.